There are many ways that you could possibly get the protein intake for the day, and some are better than others. You have whey protein, yogurt, some plant-based protein as well, eggs, canned tuna, chicken, and many others. But with so many different versions of achieving your protein intake for the day, there are still people not consuming enough. And let me tell you this, most of you are not consuming enough. You guys that come to me and say, I'm consuming 2 eggs for breakfast and protein shakes throughout the day. And you think you're killing it just because you're implementing some different techniques. But today, I will give you the optimal and most effective way to actually consume the enough amount of protein you need for the day. And I will tell you how to approximately understand how much protein you actually need. Because if we go according to guidelines, you are supposed to consume 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight, where for most of you that are focused on performance, increasing energy and building muscle, that's not so effective. But actually consuming between 1.6 to 2.2 would be a better strategy. So if we do the math on the screen here, I am a 180-pound guy. If you divide by 2.2 and multiply that by 1.6 and 2.2, you have this amount of protein that I should be taking in a day. Of course, the protein amount is going to take into considerations your goals. If you're an athlete, if you are just trying to lose weight, trying to build muscle. The answer for this question will be properly answered by having a dietitian. If you have a problem with your car, you go to the mechanic. If you have a problem with your diet, you go to Dr. Google. Okay, now we define how to properly calculate how much protein I need for a day. It's a very basic, simple math. Let's say 1.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. Assuming that you're gonna do the math and you're gonna realize it's a lot of protein and you probably haven't been eating enough. Well, before you even think about the resource itself, we need to get moving. We need to understand how can I actually implement more protein to my routine. So some of the tips I give the athletes I work with are creating and surrounding yourself with protein foods. Because if you have easy access to those foods, the chances are that you're gonna consume more. If you get home and you have a chocolate bar available, you will eat the chocolate bar because there's no friction. But if you reduce the friction and availability of protein in your house, the chances of you consuming more are way higher. A good strategy that I like to use is yogurts. Why? They're simple, you don't need to cook, put in a bowl and eat it. Okay, Mauricio, but I actually don't like to cook. Things are not easy for me. Well, I actually bought one of these at Target. It costed me $34. Okay, it was on sale, but you can buy something on Amazon and actually make protein in an easier way in your house. Any type of chicken that I'll make here will take 15 to 20 minutes max, and I don't even need to touch it. Will be tasteful and super quick to prepare. So let's say perhaps this. You get at home late at night and you're tired and you're not sure what to cook. Well, you could get home, cook rice in a rice cooker like this, 20 bucks on Amazon, link in the description, and put one of these in the air fryer to cook your chicken. Now, both of them are gonna take 15 to 20 minutes, which gives you so much room to go take a shower while your food is being prepared. So the secret here is finding how can I make my life easier if I buy more snacks, more proteins that are ready, facilitating the ways for me to cook, surrounding my meals with protein. The main thing my plate should be the protein and whatever comes along with it. Because when you do that, the chances of you consuming actually more protein are way higher. And that's exactly what I need from you. Because protein is the basis of your house. It's what helps you build muscle, produce hormones, balance your immune system. Okay, Mauricio, but if I'm trying to gain muscle and lose fat, should I still increase my protein intake? Absolutely, because that's the way you can build more muscle and actually reduce your body fat percentage. And how could you possibly do that in a routine basis? Well, some of the tips I will give you, it's what I use for my routine. For example, every time I cook dinner, I double cook the amount of protein because I will either eat for lunch the next day or I can eat for any of the other meals I have coming along. I use a lot of liquid proteins, either from yogurts, liquid proteins like Chobani's or Fairlife, or a protein powder. Now, Mauricio, all these ingredients that you're showing to us might not be the best quality protein out there. How can I have access to those and how to distinguish those? Well, I agree with you. Some proteins and products are better than others, but the ones that I actually like the most are down in the description, so you can have access to those. But here's the thing. How can I actually understand if a product is good? Well, let's talk about package. Packaged products, you can look in the back, and if you're talking about whey protein, yogurt, or so on, you just want to have what you're buying. So for yogurt, in the nutrition label, you actually want to have organic yogurt. And you can have even low fat sometimes if you're trying to lose weight. If you're talking about whey protein, for example, we want to have whey protein in the back. We don't want to have some other crazy names mixed there. Well, some whey proteins are going to be better than others, and I don't want to deep dive in every single possibility of a whey protein you should buy. I selected the ones that are my favorites down below in the description. The major tip I give people is start your day with protein. Why? Because most of the time you have access to carbs or foods that have both, but rarely throughout your day, restaurants, places vending machines, or places that you're actually going to buy a meal, you don't have as much protein on those meals. And if you start your day with protein, the chances of you completing your day with enough amount of protein you need are way higher because you already started winning. When you don't start your day with protein, but oatmeal or something that has zero protein, that will probably lead you to not consuming enough. Some of the things I wouldn't do. Well, I'm not a big fan of the plant-based products. It's way harder, I gotta tell you, and if you decide to do, I truly, strongly recommend you looking for a dietitian. Most of the people that made the follow a vegan or vegetarian diet, they do not comply and do what they should be doing because they're doctor Googling. So they're not actually getting enough of the things they need, like protein, iron, vitamin D, and so on. I'm not saying you can't get from the diet, but most people don't even know how to get from that diet. Plant-based products like protein powders and fake meats and so on, they tend to be more unhealthy than meat itself because, for example, a plant-based protein, grounded plant whatever, has way more saturated fat and sodium than actual meat would have. A plant-based whey protein most of the time do not have enough of the amino acids or enough of the protein you need. Most of the time it's not very accessible, financially affordable, or doesn't work for most people. Surrounding yourself, it's the first and major tip. Starting your day with protein is definitely something you should do. Consuming liquid proteins will not make you fat. What makes you fat or gaining weight is excess calories at the end of the day. If you're trying to lean it out, more protein will help you. If you're trying to bulk it up, more protein will help you. If you're trying to resolve a disease, more protein will help you. There's rarely, and we can talk about kidney conditions and some liver conditions that would require you to consume less protein, but rarely a condition that will require less protein. In fact, there's studies with heart disease and diabetes that show that a diet reaching 30% made of protein showed much more results in recover or reversing the condition than actually consuming way less protein. Getting more protein for you probably will benefit you. I don't want you to just watch this video and start eating protein for every single meal and become a carnivore, but I want you to become self-aware and look for a professional that can actually help you and understand, am I eating enough protein? If not, how much more do I need? But the most important thing to help you consume more protein and have a better diet is to subscribe to this channel. But as always, stay healthy and eat your protein.